Good morning, HD2.
Good morning.
It's good to be back. I was here last in June. I'm Robin Kniech, and I am your at-large councilwoman, one of two. I serve with Debbie Ortega, with whom I work really well, and who's also doing a great job for you. I can say that since she's not here to say it for herself. I know her staff will represent her well. Just two quick introductions before I start. First, you know my son, Nathaniel, who's often with me, and so thank you for allowing me to bring him along. And then Audrey is my campaign manager. There's a volunteer sign-up back there, and also a petition if you'd like to help put me on the ballot. Make sure to only sign 2 at-large petitions. Since there's some new faces in the room that I don't know, I'm going to give you a little background on myself. But I grew up in the Midwest, working class family, and that's a big part of the values that I bring to the job on the City Council. I'm our first out member from the gay and lesbian community to serve on the council. It's been a great time to be in such a supportive city with so much change happening for this community, and you all have been great about that. I am a mom. I'm a single parent half-time with a former partner. And really, a lot of what I do on the council grows out of the work that I did prior, which was trying to bring accountability to big development, making sure that we have outcomes for those who are struggling to make ends meet. So I feel like I've really delivered a number of things since being elected to council. I added public comment periods to city council committee meetings. We never had them before on policy issues, so to the question that was asked, it was a big fight actually to get 15 minutes of public comment, but we got it. I've added policies for affordable housing. The last thing I talked to you about actually in June, if you'll all remember, was a pretty intense fight. It was a 7-6 vote. The development community was aligned against me, but we managed to hold together 7 votes in the support of the mayor to pass the inclusionary housing ordinance. So for those of you who are supportive of that, thank you for your help. You helped to get it done. And I also worked to really change some of our food policy in Denver. It used to be illegal to sell a carrot to your neighbor. Now you can not only do that, you can get a permit and really be able to both bring fresh food to your neighbors, but also maybe earn a little income for your own family. We don't have a lot of people taking advantage of it, but for those who are taking advantage of it, it's a really important opportunity for them. And so you also were supportive and talked with me about that last time I was with you. The bigger picture issues in Denver, we talked, you know, your prior speakers talked a little bit about the growth and about the economy and the boom that's happening in Denver, and I think that those things have seen some positive outcomes, right? Our libraries are open, right, 6 days a week now because of that success. We're hiring our first police officers in the last 12 months that we had not hired for 5 years, and so growth has some real benefits for our residents in terms of safety and security and services. And so those are good things, but I really do believe that we have a risk of this city not staying as diverse. Many of us chose Denver as a city or grew up here and loved it and stayed because of the diversity of the city. We didn't want to live around all people who looked just like us or earned the same amount as we did. And so for us to maintain that kind of city, we need to really be thinking about making sure that housing continues to be available to seniors and to the young graduates of college and working families who work at 7-Eleven and some of these great coffee shops that we all love to go to. So one of the things I'm most proud of, and the reason that I'd like to continue serving you on the City Council, is about big picture change. We as a city used to think that was something we did with federal and state dollars. It wasn't our job as a city. And now we've really changed the debate. I'm proud of the change in debate. Debbie's been supportive of the way that we have gotten the mayor to acknowledge that this is our job. So we are, for the first time ever, researching revenue sources that we might set aside off the top to put into affordable housing. Hope to be able to have some ideas to begin a public conversation later in the spring. We recently passed the ordinance to expand accountability for the monitor's office. This is our independent monitor who watches what the police and the sheriff's department are doing. They've always had access to individual officer misconduct cases, but what we need them to have more access to is policy documents and data. We want them to understand the decisions the leadership is making, the training that's happening, not just wait until incidents occur and then individually investigate them. But we need to look at that systemic stuff, and he's our best tool for doing that. He understands the best practices, and now we've made sure he has access to all the information he needs. One more vote on Monday night, and that will be final. So those are some of the things that I'm proud of and that I'd like to continue serving you to work on. I really do want to take most of the rest of my time for your questions. I don't know exactly how much because I came in a little late. Excellent. So we're splitting the time, me and you. So With that, I want to ask for your vote on May 5th. As Aaron mentioned, you do get up to 2 votes. As you know, this is going to be a low turnout race. And so I don't just want your vote, but I want you helping to spread the word. I want you talking to others, using Facebook, and helping to get ballots turned in, because ultimately, we will be lucky to hit 20% turnout in this race. It's a small percentage of our city having an influence on billions of dollars of decisions. And so please help to spread the word, whether it's for me or for other candidates. Let's try to increase that turnout. With that, I'd love to hear what you want to ask about.
I'd like, I love most everything that you're doing, and I think you're a tremendous representative for it. One thing I did not understand was the council vote to allow the 30-story building at the edge of University Park, which violated the plan that the city came out with a few years ago, and had near unanimous, from what I could tell from my neighbors, opposition from University Park residents. Yet the vote on the council was unanimous to change that rule, allow higher development, put people's solar rooftops in the shadows, etc. What's the story?
So I think are we talking about the Colorado Boulevard project that was south of Iliff in the University Park neighborhood, but it was on Colorado?
University.
No,
University.
Okay.
2400.
We have not done a 30-story rezoning, so I think we have a major discrepancy in the height. We did a building that was zoned as a 5-story building and asked to be rezoned to 8. That is the highest rezoning we've done in that area. So, we do probably 4 rezonings a month, and I will be honest with you, I kind of have to see a map, but I'm confident we did not rezone it to 30 stories because we haven't done in Denver. But can I speak to it more generally, since I don't have the particular cross streets in my head? Really, I think this challenge of how to grow in the city is one of the most challenging questions, and one of the things that's really important is looking at major thoroughfares. So University it's an arterial street, and so we have, as a principle, stated that when we grow, we need to grow up, but we need to grow in places like around transit, on major arterials, in places that have main street zoning. So we think about Colfax or some of the main street types of former streetcar areas. That's the general places we've said to put in density. One of the things that we've learned over time is that a lot of times people are not so concerned about height as they are some of the design elements. And so if we're thinking about the same project again, which I think was a 5 to an 8-story, the developer in that case made numerous concessions about step backs, which is, instead of looking at a street face with a building like this, it steps back every floor so that it's like a tiered wedding cake almost on the edges. They actually put green space, grass, roof on top of the parking. The parking all came in through the alley, and so there were a number of things that developers did in response to community concerns to try to blend better with the residential areas nearby. Those are things that I think give neighborhoods a ton of power to be able to negotiate and mitigate those changes in their areas. But I think for me, the 2 main factors were it was a major arterial, and they have made major design changes to really allow for things that I think blended better. And the economics change when you do that. When you take out floor area, I don't know if folks have a sense of, what residential sale prices are in the city, right? Yes. Well, those are the same land prices that are escalating for developers. And so being able to build higher but taking out some of those things along the way helps to make the economics work. So that's a tough balance, but I want to make sure we have a couple more questions.
Denver's got a strong mayor system and a strong mayor, and council gets some criticism for its relationship with the mayor. Can you talk a little bit about council's relationship with the mayor and your ability to stand up?
I have voted against the mayor on the camping ban, for example, banning homelessness, and I've also been successful in changing the mayor's mind. The mayor did not love inclusionary housing, and he, to his credit, allowed me to build a base across the city of support and then went with it and signed that bill, in spite of major pressure from downtown and others not to. So I have both worked with the mayor constructively and moved him on issues, as well as voting against him when I need to. One more, 30 seconds, quick.
Do you think municipally provided internet is feasible in Denver?
There's a state law that prohibits us from doing it.
Can't that be changed?
Sure. Talk to your legislator, Alan Burnett. Last question.
What influence does the council have on education policy? I've got 2 kids at DPS, so it's kind of an important issue.
I'm a mom with a DPS kid, almost none unless I use my bully pulpit, which I have mostly done for process reasons. When I feel like my residents are being frozen out of a conversation, I go to DPS and I say they need to be a part of it, but I don't make day-to-day decisions about the classroom. Those are things really in the hands of the school board.
Okay.
Thanks for your time, everyone.